Welcome back to the channel. This is Trendy Storm and you are watching What If Naruto was banished by the Elder Gods after the 4th Shinobi War. If you enjoy this video, please like, share and subscribe to this channel. Now wasting no time, let's start the story.
The Outworld Realm. Shao Kahn's palace. Shao Kahn, the great and powerful emperor, was seated on his throne. He was by himself in his throne room, thinking about the Mortal Kombat competition that was taking place on Shang Tsung's island. This was the 10th tournament, and soon Earth Realm will finally belong to him. How long has it been since I felt this way? Shao Kahn asked himself as he studied his right hand. I'm so close to winning, so close to getting my retribution, so close to real victory. A demonic voice said, "It has been too long, Kahn, not since that day you defeated Madara." Shao Kahn hadn't spoken to the voice in a very long time. After all these years, you finally talked to me. What have you been up to, please? Resting. Keep in mind that you and I are no longer one, but I can still see what's on your mind. You've been a busy boy, haven't you, Naruto? That name, yes, it had been a long time since I had heard my real name. Tell me what you did while I was away, my boy. My old friend, many years have passed, and I've been very busy. Naruto, think back to the day that shaped who you are today. I didn't forget. That day, which transformed a young boy with dreams into the formidable and powerful emperor he is today, was many millennia ago. Several thousand years ago. That fateful night in the land of fire. As Naruto Uzumaki, the chosen one, the child of destiny, the one who will be the one to break the chains of hate, free the world from the Madara Uchiha, and prevent the return of the Ten-tailed beast, the Jubi, the fourth great ninja war filled the lands with blood, death, and pain. It was a one-on-one match between Naruto and Madara Uchiha. Naruto had just beaten his best friend Sasuke Uchiha in combat, but he didn't kill him. Instead, he simply defeated him. Naruto refused to spill his friend's blood. However, Madara Uchiha would shed his blood tonight, and it was because of Madara that Naruto's family was destroyed. The Uchiha clan was brought to ruin, and the world would end thanks to Madara. Uzumaki Naruto. For far too long, child, you have been a pain in my side. That night, I ought to have killed you. Madara glared at Naruto, who was in his Kyuubi Sage mode, suggesting that perhaps then I wouldn't have had this mess. Madara, you are solely to blame for that. It's time to put an end to this permanently. I'll stop you right here and put an end to you. Madara quickly chuckles at Naruto, teasing the boy for his stupidity. Don't think it'll be simple to defeat. Sasuke is not like me. It is beyond your power to stop me from bringing the Jubi back and taking over the world. Naruto grinned angrily, ready to capture Madara and put an end to this once and for all. A pair of enormous golden Kyuubi claws emerged to reach Madara after Naruto smashed both of his fists into the ground directly below him. Madara leapt to his feet and snatched up his enormous fan weapon behind his back, saying, "Try again, kid." Madara then swung his fan down upon the chakra claws, destroying them in a single blow. As soon as Madara realized Naruto was no longer on the ground, he was struck from behind, sending him flying to the ground. Madara quickly got up and turned to face Naruto, who had just surprised him by attacking from behind. Yes, boy, you have become stronger than I initially believed. However, it doesn't matter because you can't stop me. Madara makes the four-handed sign, Grand Fireball Jutsu. Naruto deflects Madara's fireballs and strikes Madara in the face with a strong roundhouse kick. Madara shook his head, realizing that it was time to stop playing around and start taking things seriously. The blow was strong enough to shatter his silver mask, and he threw aside his fan weapon to use his eyes, this time the Rinnegan of his right eye. Powerful pull. Madara aimed his right hand at Naruto, who felt his body suddenly lighten and as though something were drawing him in. Naruto used his Kyuubi's claws to keep Madara at a distance, but Madara's pull got stronger every second. Naruto was soon flying in Madara's direction. Madara pulled out a long sword and prepared to impale Naruto with it. Although Naruto was aware that this would be extremely painful, he hoped the plan would succeed. Once Madara was within reach of Naruto, he impaled the boy in the stomach with the long sword. It's over, kid. However, as Naruto began to laugh, Madara quickly became concerned. Madara, it's over for you. I'm doing this for my parents. Madara's eyes widened in terror as Naruto used his right hand to stab him in the chest, and he fell into Naruto's trap. This is for my mother and my father Rasengan. The old Uchiha screamed in pain as he felt his insides being ripped apart, and when Madara's body went limp, Naruto ripped his right hand from Madara's chest to form a Rasengan ball. After pulling the long sword from his stomach, Naruto sat down because he had expended a lot of energy performing that move, and he was now panting heavily as he examined Madara's body. His wound had healed because of Kyuubi. It was over when Madara's death was finally confirmed. Naruto stood up and said, "It's finally over. I broke the chain of hatred, mother and father." Unbeknownst to Naruto, Madara's right hand twice caused the thought, dead Uchiha to unexpectedly resurrect himself. Madara then grabbed his long sword and ran in Naruto's direction. Naruto swiftly turned around and hit Madara in the chest with a Rasengan, asking, "Why won't you die?" Madara was sent flying 10 feet before colliding with a tree, but he was still alive despite his wounds. Naruto ran over to him and grabbed him by the throat, saying, why won't you die? A man could have died from those blows." The old Uchiha began to laugh at the young Uzumaki, saying, "I'm a mortal boy, I am Madara Uchiha, you cannot win this fight." Madara's mask burst open, revealing his face to Naruto. "Even if it means tearing you to pieces, I'll beat you." Before he could tear Madara to pieces, however, Naruto abruptly stopped and turned to face the red moon, which sent out waves of violence that he could sense from within. The Jubi was waking up, and the time was almost here. The world will be mine when it awakens, which is almost here. Turning back to Madara, Naruto used all of his strength to rip Madara in two while holding the Uchiha in the air. Madara screamed in agony, "Survive that." Madara laughed despite the fact that Naruto had just torn him to pieces. "I am eternal. The world is mine, kid, so you can't win. You are powerless to change it." However, clouds suddenly arose in the sky, blocking the moon's view as orange lighting flashed twice. Naruto was struck by the orange lighting, which caused his chakra to double, making him feel too powerful. All of a sudden, he heard a voice in his head. "Use this power to defeat your mortal enemy by sealing the Jubi once more." Focusing his newly discovered power, Naruto's golden chakra began to turn white. Naruto had attained a new level of power and felt godlike. He grabbed Madara's upper body and threw him into the air while holding his hands together to form a massive ball of Rasengan energy. As Naruto blasted the giant Rasengan ball at Madara, destroying his entire upper body and sending the giant Rasengan to the moon, he felt the presence and strength of his loved ones by his side, including Kushina, Minato, Jiraiya, and the other members of the Uzumaki clan. When the giant Rasengan struck the moon, Naruto heard the Jubi's agonized cries because the giant Rasengan's chakra form was the same sage power that had long since vanquished the Jubi. The seal was restored in a matter of seconds, and Jubi was silent once more. After using that Rasengan attack, Naruto felt extremely exhausted. His body began to glow white, and he could feel himself fading away from his world, but there was nothing he could do about it. Not sure. When Naruto woke up, he was in a strange place he had never been before, with white covering everything around him. He wasn't sure if he was in heaven or somewhere else. But Naruto soon finds himself surrounded by 6 creatures. Their bodies were transparent, their eyes were glowing white, and they didn't appear human, they were giants. "Who are you?" Naruto inquired. "The Elder Gods are who we are. For many years, we guarded the realms." One of the 5 Elder Gods addressed Naruto, saying, "We are the ones who created the realms. Where am I? You've been brought to us. We want to express our gratitude for protecting Earth Realm from the Jubi threat." Naruto grinned, happy to assist these Elder Gods and acting in accordance with his moral convictions. "But because you are the only part of the Jubi that hasn't been damaged. You pose as a danger to everyone around you as well as to Earth Realm." "What? What do you mean that I simply saved the world and everyone?" "Yes, we are aware. However, if you die, the Kyuubi will also die and come back to life. Consequently, the world will end and the Jubi will be reawakened. As long as you are alive or dead, your very existence poses a threat. We brought you here because you were very weak, otherwise, you would have perished." Naruto was shocked by what these Elder Gods were telling him. "So I'll die if I return to Earth Realm, my home?" "Yes. Sealing the Jubi away requires a lot of energy, however, you were able to save Earth Realm because of your bravery and determination. We'll give you the strength you need to live. However, be aware that you are not allowed to go back to Earth Realm." "No, you cannot harm me in this way. How about everyone at home? They'll think I've passed away. Can I at least bid everyone farewell? Please come, I beg you. Just give me a day." The Elder Gods were pleaded with by Naruto. "I'm afraid there isn't anything you can do. Your request cannot be risked." One of the Elder Gods, a female Elder God, said, "Please understand, but we will send a message to your loved ones." Naruto nodded his head in defeat. Naruto pumped his fists and smiled, saying, "Very well then, tell your messenger to tell everyone I won and I love them all and I gave it my all and also give Madara Uchiha hell. It will be done. Where are you going to send me?" Without saying a word, the elder god's eyes glow bright blue as they shot a beam of energy at Naruto. Naruto fell down to his knees. He felt a large surge of power flowing through his body. Naruto vanished from the elder god's sight. Where he was unknown. Thus began the first step of how one boy became a powerful emperor. End of prologue. There you have it, of prologue of the beginning of how a boy became the emperor of Outworld. Sorry the prologue was short everyone anyway. This is a dark, grey Naruto FIC. Reason why I put grey Naruto in, because he's truly evil nor is he truly good, between the neutral spot but different. This is something new and possibly an origin idea. I wanted to try this and see where it goes. I have already planned how it will work. Shao Kahn's origin is unknown even in the Mortal Kombat world of both old and new timeline. All it say was during Shao Kahn's origin was he was Onaga, aka the Dragon King, the former ruler of Outworld, former advisor. He killed Onaga by poisoning him, as during his youth Onaga was too powerful for Khan to take him down in combat, so he poisoned him and took his throne as ruler of Outworld. During the young years of Shao Kahn's rulers, he had meet and befriend a man from the realm of chaos. That man's name was Havoc. It said that how Shao Kahn got his war hammer made from the twisted and magic of the realm of chaos. Havoc isn't good nor is he evil. He'll help you only if it brings chaos. It was Havoc who helped Melina, Bo, Rai, Cho and Ermac find Onaga New Castle only because he believes Shao Kahn was the better chaos bringer than Onaga, and Onaga had rules and Havoc hate rules and order. Additionally, Shao Kahn met Shang Tsung 500 years prior to the start of the 10th Mortal Kombat. Naruto opened his eyes to find himself within a different area. He was no longer within the realms of the Elder Gods. Given new strength but forbidden to return to his home world, the realm for whom he was born from. He had to make a huge sacrifice for everyone, even though he was a young hero. Naruto looked around his current location, which had a light purple sky and a somewhat gloomy appearance. He wasn't sure what kind of power the Elder Gods had given him, but he would soon find out. Naruto traveled through this unfamiliar world until he came to a stop when he noticed a massive palace perched atop a mountain, with a gigantic dragon skull at its summit. Wondering who owned the palace, Naruto made the decision to travel there. However, a voice called out to Naruto just as he was ready to. "You're not ready, so leave this world." Naruto turned around to see who the voice belonged to. Before Naruto could anything, a powerful beam of energy shot at Naruto, which sent Naruto flying towards a large gateway behind him. The Nexus. The Nexus, a place where all realms are connected together. This one place holds the realms together but apart, keeping them from being fused as one. Naruto bounced off the ground as he rolled after being struck by the powerful unknown beam. Shaking his head, Naruto said, "That really hurt." When Naruto first woke up, he felt lightheaded, but he quickly got over it because he was surprised to see 6 portals in front of him. Naruto looked around to see where he was and what these 6 portals were. Naruto approached the green portal and, as soon as he touched it with his right hand, he was pushed 2 feet away. "That must be my realm," Naruto said. "A deal is a deal, though. What are these other realms?" Naruto entered the light blue portal, which led to the realm of Edenia, a serene and beautiful place that resembled his own. Naruto surveyed the area, which nearly resembled his home realm. As Naruto crossed a red wooden bridge, he saw nothing but beauty and life around him. He couldn't help but smile because he felt that everything was right. "Maybe I can make this my home world?" he asked himself. Unaware that he had just entered the royal garden, Naruto soon noticed a young woman planting fresh flowers in the garden amid the lovely roses and flowers that surrounded him. The young lady, who wore a royal purple dress, had very long hair that was both white and black in color, golden brown eyes, and was the most stunning thing Naruto had ever seen, he had ever laid eyes on. The young lady turned to see Naruto standing there, his expression amused. "May I assist you?" When she asked Naruto, he broke eye contact. The young woman grinned at Naruto and said, "Come here." Naruto approached her and said, "Now tell me, who are you?" "I'm new here, I'm a traveler, and I've left my realm. My name is Naruto Uzumaki." Naruto introduces himself to the attractive young woman, saying, "I am from Earth Realm." The young woman gasps when she learns of Naruto's origins, saying, "My, you have come a long way." Shaking the back of his head, Naruto said, "Yeah, I came here to see if I can make your realm my new home." "Please explain your initial reason for coming here," she inquired. After defeating Madara Uchiha, Naruto was given new strength by the Elder Gods to save his realm, and he explained to the young woman how and why he had come here. Naruto was now on a new path, a new life, and he needed to find a new home. The young woman was shocked to see a young man who had been endowed with strength by the Elder Gods, but before she could address Naruto, a voice spoke. "Where are you, Princess Sindel?" The young woman's name was called by the voice. Sindel and Naruto were chatting when an Edenian knight discovered them. "Ah, there you are, princess." The young princess was informed by the knight, "Come, your father needs you." Inquiring about Naruto's identity, the knight said, "Jared, this is Naruto. Can you wait for me, Naruto? He's a traveler." As Princess Sindel and the Edenian knight Jared left Naruto alone in the garden, he nodded his head. Naruto blacked out from the unexpected blow. The king will be pleases. Suddenly, he sensed something powerful lurking behind him, and when he turned to look back, he was sucker punched in the face. Unidentified Palace Naruto, with a bag over his head, is carried down on his knees before the king of this world by a group of armored soldiers as they enter a large throne room. The bag is taken off, revealing Naruto's face to their king. Naruto opened his eyes and saw nothing Edenian, Sindel, flower, or beauty. Instead, he saw a dragon-like creature with enormous wings that resembled a giant man. The dragon-man rose from his throne and approached Naruto. The creature that stood in front of Naruto was Onaga the dragon, the ruler of Outworld. After a minute of staring into the Dragon King's icy yellow eyes, Naruto said, "Who are you and why have you brought me here?" "I am the king of Outworld and the ruler of Onaga." Naruto immediately realized he had to flee when he heard the king say, "And you are my prisoner boy. My men tell me you were given strength by the elder gods. You were discovered in Edenia. I'm not sure what authority they granted me. You're wasting your time on me," Onaga said, laughing. He didn't think Naruto was real, but he thought the boy would be helpful if the elder gods gave him strength. The charge in Naruto's new life started that day. Onaga Dark Prison. 3 days later, Onaga's soldiers beat the living daylights out of Naruto, forcing him to use the power that the gods had given him. Naruto was held by chains while his body was beaten and bloodied, but he remained alive for hours. When the beatings finally stopped on the third day, Naruto was freed from his chains and fell to the ground, coughing up blood. He wiped the blood from his mouth, growled at the guards, and used double Rasengan to strike the 2 guards to his right. Naruto killed 3 guards in 2 seconds by ramming a giant Rasengan into the 3rd guard's chest. He was about to kill the remaining guards when Onaga arrived at the dark prison. Naruto approached the Dragon King with a Rasengan, but Onaga blocked it with his enormous wings. Naruto screamed in pain as he felt something inside him being torn out, and Onaga grabbed him by the throat, choking the young man. "You shall know I am your master." Onaga held his left hand to Naruto's chest and spoke in tongue. Onaga glazed at what he had, tossing Naruto aside. Naruto turned to see an orb in Onaga's hands that was green or orange in color. "What did you do?" Naruto questioned Onaga. "I have taken away your ability to recover. Your capacity for healing is the only reason you are able to withstand my men's attacks. Without this, you have no choice but to serve me, boy." Although Naruto wanted to kill Onaga, he was at a loss for what to do at the moment. Kyuubi's healing power was one of the many things that kept Naruto alive during his battles. Naruto was unable to make his Rasengan. "No, my attack. I can't make my Rasengan." Despite holding his right hand in the shape of his famous Rasengan attack, nothing was there. Onaga may have been a king and ruler, but he was not Naruto's master, so Naruto bowed down to him on his knees and vowed to kill the Dragon King one day. After a few years, after serving as the Dragon King's servant, Naruto learned how to use the Outworld's power and was taught how to use magic by Onaga's dark-only men. Naruto also learned that magic would soon be one of his most powerful weapons. The throne room of Onaga. "Onaga, have you called me?" Onaga gazed at his new attendant as Naruto questioned the Dragon King. "For a long time, you have been my slave. There is an item I seek that lays within the hellish pits of the Netherrealm. Go and find this item and bring it to me," the Dragon King said, and Naruto wondered what he wanted him to do for him. "But now is the time to prove your worth, boy. May I ask, what is this item which you seek?" "The item is known as the Soul Gem. Locate it and bring it to me right away." As the young servant bowed his head and left Outworld, a portal opened behind him, allowing Naruto to enter the Netherrealm, a place of evil and darkness where all evil souls go after their lives are over. The Netherrealm. When Naruto first entered the Netherrealm, he sensed its sinister energy all around him. He ended up in what looked to be a town, but he decided to worry about that later. Naruto gazes upon the entire Netherrealm's wretched field of lava and fire after entering the town's gates. Where can I locate this soul gem now? Soon after, however, Naruto sensed a powerful force approaching him, and as he prepared to strike whoever it was, he turned to his left to see that the powerful, unidentified force was a woman. Clad in red and black, the woman had long black hair, brown eyes, and a beautiful, almost human appearance, but she was actually a demon, having been born in the Netherrealm. "Who are you? Are you not present here, stranger?" The woman uttered those words. Know that I'm Naruto before you attack me. I am sent on a quest to find the soul gem for Onaga, he said, outlining his motivation for traveling to the Netherrealm. The woman chose not to attack him after rapidly realizing his justification. Very well, Naruto, I will not kill you. But take note, Dragon King's servant. Your arrival will not be welcomed in the Netherrealm. Naruto chuckles, you misunderstand me. That monster is not my servant. I'm a slave, but I'll be free in due time. Tell me who you are. My name is Ashura, the woman says when she first meets Naruto. I am a fellow member of the Shadow Brotherhood. You are cordially invited to join the Brotherhood of Shadow. I sense that evil and hate fill your soul. I apologize, Ashura, but I must decline your kind offer. She laughed at his joke, saying, I like you, Naruto. You are different from any servant I have met. But I would hope we would meet again, but on a more living field. The soul gem is to the west, but proceed with caution. Ashura watched as Naruto bolted off to the west side of the Netherrealm, bowing his head and saying, Thank you, Ashura. Naruto found a floating stone covered in ruined text on the west side of the Netherrealm. Thinking this would be the soul gem, he approached the stone but stopped when a voice called out. Just stop there. It resembled a creature Naruto had never seen before. It was roughly 6 feet tall, had yellow eyes, and had skin that resembled hard rock. Who are you? Naruto questioned the unidentified rock monster. That soul gem is off limits. Under whose direction? Naruto scowled, prepared to battle the rock monster. Taking the rock monster's threats lightly, Naruto grabbed the soul gem and felt its power transfer to him. As the rock monster charged at him, ready to strike, Naruto unleashed a powerful blast from his right fist, destroying the creature in a single blow. Under Lord Shinnok. What, this stuff is good? Naruto grinned, feeling pleased with the power boost he had received from the soul gem. A fresh voice behind Naruto said, You have a nature skill with magic for someone so young. The young fighter turned around in time to see a man in a red dot and blue royal robe, his eyes white and his skin gray, pale. Who are you? You should introduce yourself to someone before they do. Didn't your mother teach you any manners? The man raises his left eyebrow followed by a kind smile. My mother died when I was born. Naruto stared at the man with an angry glare in his eyes. Forgive my rudeness. I am Naruto Uzumaki. Onaga sent me here in search of a soul gem. The Netherrealm is ruled by me, Lord Shinnok. Why would a Dragon King's servant come here in search of a soul gem? A soul gem could be easily gained, Shinnok said, laughing as he abandoned Naruto in the dark, leaving the young fighter perplexed. The other realms contain a lot of soul gems. He sent me here, but why? Naruto became enraged and said, I'm sick of his games. Now that the young soul has calmed down, do you want to take Onaga's life? With a smile, Shinnok said, perhaps I can help you. Naruto took notice, asking, what do you have in mind, Shinnok? Naruto's face lit up with a broad smile. Your strength was easily doubled by a soul gem. You must have been weakened by Onaga, who took away your former strength and power. For now, play your role as his servant and get closer to him, Naruto said, nodding his head. Become his right hand man and take his life when you get close enough. I can't defeat him, not even with my magic. I used to be very strong and capable of healing, but I'm not close enough to earn his trust. How can I so easily win his trust? For a while, Shinnok pondered what could help Naruto win the Dragon King's trust. To win Onaga's trust, these realms must be combined with Outworld. Onaga will only trust you after that. There will be a lot of deaths, but not as many as would result from Onaga's continued rule. Naruto paused for a long moment, wondering, is it possible to unfuse the world later? Yes, only the ruler can do that. You can ascend to Onaga's throne after his death. Why do you assist me? Naruto was quick to notice Shinnok's generosity toward him and was eager to assist him in defeating Onaga. The Elder Gods have long been threatened by Onaga. I was once an Elder God, however, I am in charge of the Netherrealm. You were an Elder God once? I've already met them. Shinnok's eyes enlarged with surprise upon learning that this young man had a face.to. Face encounter with the Elder Gods. When? Onaga held me as a slave 10 years prior. Earth Realm was in danger, but I rescued it. Because I am the host of the Kyuubi, a fragment of the Jubi, I was told that I am not allowed to enter Earth Realm. Shinnok suddenly burst out laughing angrily, asking, what's so funny? Naruto inquired. Shaking his head, Shinnok said, come back to me when Onaga is dead, and I'll tell you what you need to know. Shinnok gives Naruto another soul gem and opens an outworld portal, which returns Naruto to Onaga's world. The former Elder God couldn't help but smile after Naruto left the Netherrealm. My lord, why did you leave him go? A voice asked from behind Shinnok. As a member of the Brotherhood of Shadow, he could have undoubtedly been of service to you. Fear not, my young apprentice, I have found a pawn that will serve me without the elder gods knowing my plan of my return. Shinnok chuckled. After meeting the former elder god Shinnok, Naruto spent 300 years as Onaga's servant. He followed Shinnok's instructions to find and take control of these realms for Onaga in order to earn his trust, but it took some time for that plan to succeed because Naruto was still getting used to his newfound strength. Naruto thought to himself, it has been 300 years since that day, yet I am still not close enough, damn it, I need to find another source of power. Onaga so far hasn't found out what I am planning, this is good. Over the years, Naruto gained Onaga's trust by demonstrating to him that he was a worthy fighter, even though he had lost his original powers. The more Naruto battled, the more vicious he became. Magic wasn't his forte. He needed more time, but his strength was well known and feared. Naruto had to be brutal in his fighting or else his life would end. After learning from a shadow monk that the realm of chaos contains a potent source of power, Naruto made the decision to travel there to discover what it has to offer. The Chaos Realm. In the realm of chaos, chaos is good and order is evil. Without it, chaos will not only disappear from this realm but from all realms as well. Naruto approached what appeared to be a strange deviant path in the middle of the realm of chaos, which had light green skies and an unstable appearance with cracked ground and a massive red pillar shooting red energy into the sky. After stepping on the path, Naruto was instantly taken to the opposite side of the realm and found himself standing in front of what appeared to be a graveyard. Just as he was ready to enter the graveyard, a voice interrupted him. Enter there with 1 foot. You will only be able to hear the sound of your spine breaking. When Naruto turned around, he saw a man wearing dark blue clothing and a blue hood over his head to conceal his identity. Who are you? Naruto questioned the unidentified man. Words cannot separate you from this one warrior of order, the unidentified man said, pointing to Naruto with his right index finger. What are you talking about, warrior of order? The man chuckled, saying, enough talk, attack. Fight of the first round. The man made the first move, aiming for Naruto's face with a swift right jam. Before the man's fist could reach Naruto's face, Naruto grabbed it and headbutted him to break up the close proximity. After the man recovered quickly, he ran towards Naruto and drop-kicked him in the chest, sending him flying to the ground. Naruto got up, but the kick was not strong enough to permanently knock him down. Once again, the man ran toward Naruto, but this time, Naruto kicked him in the face with a swift roundhouse kick, sending him spinning in midair and bouncing off the two. Naruto triumphs. The man turned to glare at Naruto after spitting up tiny amounts of blood. Naruto could see that the man's blue eyes were soulless and lifeless. I felt that, he laughed. I sensed it in your kick. I experienced chaos. A fight in round 2. This time, the unidentified man attacked Naruto with the greatest speed. Naruto blocked his blows but was taken aback by a kick to the stomach, causing him to fall to his knees just as the man was about to beat him down, but Naruto surprised him by giving him a surprise uppercut. The man laughed and hurried to his feet, saying, well done. Naruto is taken aback by what the man says. Naruto triumphs. You did a great job, but what do you mean by attacking me? No, I didn't attack you, Naruto yelled at the unidentified man, who sighed and shook his head. I was trying you out, newbie. Anyone who wants to share or shed chaos is welcome in the realm of chaos. We have been receiving unwanted guests lately. The man's topic was immediately understood by Naruto. Oh, I see you thought I was one of these unwanted guests? And who are these strangers? Naruto Uzumaki is who I am. I was informed that I could locate a potent source here. Ah. A nomad, huh? My name is Havoc. A chaos cleric. I would never consider imprisoning a spirit like yours, Havoc said, pulling back his hood to reveal his face to Naruto. He had long brown hair, blue eyes that appeared lifeless, and, much to Naruto's surprise, a rotting looking mouth with only his teeth and bone chin visible. Naruto wondered if Havoc was a zombie or if this was how the people of the realm of chaos looked, and he didn't want to say anything offensive to him. Alright, Naruto. What is it that you're looking for? I don't know what it is. However, I need to locate this power source before my plans to murder Onaga can come to fruition. Havoc laughed when he heard the Dragon King's name, and his laughter quickly turned into an evil laugh. Havoc stopped giggling and said, a soul like yours has finally arrived. That idiot king thought he could bring order to all the realms for years. What an idiot he is. I was aware that something new was happening. Chaos is all around you. Indeed, I can detect the chaos from your mother's side of the family. Havoc could detect it immediately from Naruto, who was born with chaos in his veins. Naruto followed Havoc into the graveyard of the realm of chaos, where the people of chaos interred their loved ones and dead. They went into the tower in the center of the graveyard. There was an empty room inside the graveyard tower. Havoc walked in the center of the room and slammed his fist into the floor, causing the room to tremble. The room then lowered itself into the ground, leading the two to a secret location inside the tower. The room paused as a secret door opened directly behind Naruto, and the two entered a secret chamber where a floating green orb was visible. Naruto surveyed the area before turning to face Havoc and asking, "What is this place?" He questioned the Chaos Cleric. "The Room of Chaos here is where all of us are blessed with its chaotic light giving us abilities we never had. It worked wonders for me." Havoc chuckled. "Step forward and see what the Soul of Chaos will grant you." Standing directly beneath the floating Soul of Chaos, Naruto nodded his head and took a step forward. Gazing up at the orb, he marveled at its beauty before a ray of green light descended upon him, causing him to scream in agony. "Chaos has given you a gift for showing you seek her ways." Naruto felt stronger and felt truly good after the Soul of Chaos dispelled its ray upon him. He was covered in green flames, which went out when he breathed. "Her?" Naruto turned to face Havoc as he spoke. "Naturally, Chaos is our adored goddess, and she has bestowed upon you her chaotic love. Look at the weapon you previously saw." Naruto turned his head to see a large warhammer in front of him, and Havoc pointed out the weapon. With both hands, Naruto grabbed the war hammer as its power surged through his body, causing the ground to tremble. "Me like." Naruto grinned as he smashed the hammer down. "You've witnessed Chaos methods. You are now our brother of Chaos, Naruto. I hope we cross paths again and that you put an end to the life of that idiot king. Chaos is beyond your control. Chaos is holy and formless. Like our sacred waters." Naruto grinned and patted Havoc's right shoulder before the war hammer disappeared from his grasp. "Thank you, Havoc. I hope to see you again. A man with your strength would be very helpful. You might be a bitch's crazy, chaotic son." Havoc would be grinning if he had lips because he would have an ally in this Uzumaki. "However, you have the style and skill to demonstrate that you are one with chaos." There were still some loose ends that needed to be tied up, so even though Naruto had returned to Outworld with a new weapon, he wasn't prepared to defeat Onaga just yet. The throne room of Onaga. "My king, have you called me?" As Onaga gazed at Naruto for a while, Naruto bowed his head to him. "You have been my servant for 300 years, boy. You have gradually gained my trust by working your way up the ranks. I needed your strength for something." Naruto immediately realized what he had to do. Tell those idiots that Onaga's wrath won't go unanswered. Their realm will be mine, and their order will be heard. The realm of Edenia has been evading my wrath for far too long. Naruto turned away and left the throne room as Onaga nodded and said, "Say no more, my king, it shall be done." The Edenian realm. As he made his way to the Edenian palace, Naruto reflected, "It's been a while since I came to this beautiful realm." Upon quickly discovering the Edenian palace, when Naruto found himself surrounded by Edenian guards, they were about to attack him, but someone interrupted them. When Naruto turned to look behind him, he saw a man wearing royal attire. His brown hair was long and styled in a ponytail. Naruto immediately recognized the attractive woman standing next to the man. "Sindel?" Naruto asked in a confused tone. "That is Queen Sindel to you, servant of the dragon," exclaimed an Edenian guard. Before realizing who was in front of her, Sindel blinked twice. "Is that you, Naruto?" she inquired. As Uzumaki nodded, Naruto grinned at Sindel and said, "It is I, and as you can see, much has happened over the years." The man next to Sindel said, "Shame to see you a servant of the Dragon King." "Who are you?" Naruto asked the man as he turned to face him. The news hit Naruto like a ton of bricks. "I am King Jared Sindel's husband. This guy is her spouse. Damn you, Onaga," Naruto swore to himself. He destroyed yet another opportunity to find love, particularly in his new life. Jared said, "So this is what became of you." Naruto clarified what had happened to him over the years. "Yeah, Onaga's men kidnapped me right after you left Sindel. Sorry I left so soon, being kidnapped against my own free will. I have learned how to use magic, and well, Onaga has sent me to tell you. You won't win whatever you're planning, it will not work. We will not give up. Onaga may have army of immortals, but he will not take Edenia from us," Sindel told Naruto. With a smile, Naruto acknowledged Sindel's statement that it was good to see there are people beside the people of the realm of chaos who are against Onaga. Sindel wanted Naruto to join them because he was a powerful man who had been endowed with power by the gods themselves. "Naruto, come join us. There is no reason for you to serve Onaga." Shaking his head, Naruto said, I'm afraid I have to say no to your kind offer, Sindel. With a bow, Naruto says, goodbye, King Jared and Queen Sindel. Naruto was aware that Onaga had sent one of his spies to monitor him. Naruto was not yet ready to reveal his small schemes. Outworld. Naruto's room. Naruto sat on his bed and gazed at a ball of energy. He observed the events taking place in the Edenian realm. As Sindel's life progressed, Naruto observed her happiness and her amazing leadership as Queen of Edenia. However, Naruto was deeply hurt to learn that Sindel was wed to this Jared individual. Since King Jared was Sindel's husband, Naruto had no reason to despise him other than to feel envious. He would have had the opportunity to win Sindel's affection. Naruto grinned and crushed the orb with his bare hands, saying, "It won't be long, I will end you, Onaga. Very soon your life will end. If it hadn't been for Onaga, that might have been possible." The following day, Onaga called for Naruto. Wondering what the Dragon King wanted from him this time, Naruto entered the throne room. Naruto noticed Onaga grinning as he walked into the throne room. Naruto sensed that something was amiss. Naruto questioned, "You have summoned me, my king? I must thank you, boy. You have proven your worth by being the bait for my plans to take over Edenia," Onaga says with a grin. Naruto was still unable to understand what Onaga was discussing. But Naruto was going to find out. A special visitor was brought into the throne room by Onaga's men. Now a prisoner of the Onaga, she is chained by her arms and legs. Queen Sindel was the only one. Onaga laughed and said, "Take her to the dark prison." As Sindel was being taken away, she noticed that Naruto had no idea. "Shortly after you left Edenia, my men sneaked in and captured Sindel. Now Edenia will have no choice but to give in to my demands." The dark prison. Later that evening, Sindel waited for someone to release her from this sick, dark prison as she sat there in her cell. Sindel heard footsteps and the sound of a guard being slain. Naruto stepped forward from the shadows and bowed to Sindel. Sindel grinned at Naruto and said, "I didn't know." Near Sindel's cell, Naruto strolled. Touching Naruto's left cheek, Sindel said, "I know. You have to get me out of here, Onaga just using me as bait." Naruto was still unsure of what would enable him to give the formidable Dragon King the opportunity to be weakened. "Yeah, I knew that. Onaga doesn't know what I am planning. I'll end his life before he can take Edenia. But I need something that will weaken him enough for me to kill him." "What about poison?" "Yes, poison. That must be one thing you hadn't tried yet. Poison the Dragon King." Naruto walked away from Sindel's view. "I can't, his skin is too thick for any poison dragger. I've sent an assassin once, but he killed the assassin with ease." After a brief period of silence between Naruto and Sindel, the Queen of Edenia said, "Poison him from within. Onaga may have tough skin, but I highly doubt his insides are tough." Naruto nods his head, thinking it might be exactly what he needs. "That could work, Sindel. I must go. I shall set this plan in motions. Dinner is only an hour away." "Naruto." Sindel called as Naruto turned to go, but Sindel grabbed him by the right arm in a flash. "Yes, Sindel?" Naruto asked, turning back to face the stunning young queen. Naruto nodded his head and grinned, saying, "Be careful, don't worry." An hour later, the dining room. They were serving dinner now. Naruto was seated there with Onaga and his men. Since the Uzumaki was Onaga's advisor, Sindel sat next to him on his right, and Naruto sat next to Onaga on his left. Naruto snapped his fingers to attract the attention of a shadow monk who was carrying the bottle of wine after pouring a glass for the Onaga. The Dragon King gave Naruto a brief glance as Naruto noticed his intense gaze. "My lord, here is the finest wine in all of Outworld." Onaga offers Naruto his glass and says, "Drink this." "My lord, this is yours. I am not honored to share your drink." "Drink. If I am to enjoy my victory, so shall all my men." Onaga grinned and commanded the shadow monks to pour Naruto and Sindel a glass of the same wine. In a single gulp, the Dragon King consumed the wine. As everyone drank the wine that Naruto had placed inside, which was laced with poison, Naruto nodded to Sindel. Onaga exclaimed, "Not bad, I desire more." Naruto nods his head, "Yes, my lord." "What the hell?" "Naruto, relax. The poison will undoubtedly start working." The Uzumaki advisor reflected, "I just need to wait," as Sindel gazed at Naruto with such concern in her eyes. Onaga chuckled as everyone except Sindel and Naruto applauded the Dragon King, saying, "Tonight is a wonderful night. My men, my soldiers, my unstoppable army, tomorrow Edenia shall be mine." However, Onaga quickly dropped his glass as it broke and fell to the ground, asking, "My lord, what is wrong?" Naruto pretended to be concerned about Onaga's well-being. Onaga gave his advisor a backhand while turning to face Naruto. Naruto slams into the walls of the dining room. Small amounts of blood are coughed up by Naruto as a result of Onaga's strong backhand attack. Onaga stomped over to Naruto and took hold of his throat. At the dinner table, he throws Naruto over, and Onaga's force destroys the table. One by one, Onaga's men collapsed, choking and coughing. Sindel and Naruto both remained unharmed, leaving Onaga and her perplexed. Naruto laughs at the Dragon King while wiping the blood from his mouth. Onaga demands an explanation, asking, "How is it possible you are not affected?" "It is very simple, the poison specially made for you and your men, Onaga. A gift from the realm of chaos. Your rule is over, Onaga. I will be freer from rule, I am your slave no longer," Naruto exclaimed as he raised his war hammer and struck Onaga in the face. It sent Onaga hurtling through the walls. Naruto focused on Sindel as he used his magic to free her from Onaga's chains. Sindel embraced Naruto and kissed his right cheek as a reward, saying, "Thank you." Before long, Onaga's laughter could be heard. "Don't thank me yet, Sindel. The poison will only weaken him. I have to finish him off before the effects wear off." Onaga flew in Naruto's direction and grabbed his hips with both hands. Upward, Onaga flew into the tower. As Onaga and Naruto advanced into the tower to fight, Sindel yelled Naruto's name. After they arrived at the floors of the tower, Naruto struck Onaga in the face with his war hammer. Despite Naruto's weakness, Onaga released him. "You will pay for your betrayal, boy. One fight, round." Blowing fire at Naruto was Onaga's initial blow. Naruto was fortunate to be able to block the flames from reaching him by using his magic barrier. Naruto responds by firing what appeared to be green arrows. Because Onaga was weak, the arrows were able to impale his skin. However, Naruto's attacks can now seriously harm him. As Onaga ran towards Naruto, he grabbed him with both arms, launched him into the air, and smashed or threw him to the ground. Onaga laughed above Naruto as he stood up and shook his head, saying, "Okay, don't let him do that ever again." As Onaga descended toward Naruto, Naruto's warhammer struck him in the face once more. Naruto hits Onaga, causing him to bounce off the ground. Onaga spat colored blood out of his mouth. Naruto was grinning evilly because he was winning. Naruto laughed, "I win." Naruto triumphs. A fight in round 2. Onaga started to suck the air while holding his breath. "Hey, that's my wind power." Onaga's breath sucking motion created a strong wind puller, drawing Naruto in and grabbing him by the throat. "It is mine now, boy." "Like hell. You stole my power, I want it back." Naruto was kneed in the stomach by Onaga. Blood was spat in Onaga's face by Naruto. From the window of the tower, Onaga throws Naruto outside. Naruto screamed as he plummeted, crashing to the balcony 20 feet below. Naruto sensed that his body was disintegrating. Naruto felt himself slowly deteriorating as a result of that impact. Naruto collapsed with blood streaming from his mouth just as he was ready to stand up. Onaga laughed at his advisor as he flew down. Onaga triumphs. On the 7th floor of the tower, Sindel eventually located Naruto and Onaga. Deflated, Naruto lay there. Onaga laughed as Naruto slowly opened his eyes and stood up, saying, "Give up, boy, you cannot defeat me. I can feel the effects of the poison wearing off." Naruto healed some of his wounds with magic. After playing games with Onaga, Naruto stood up and called forth his warhammer. "You will never win." Final round fight. Onaga shot the Queen of Edenia with his fireball after glancing at Sindel. "You dare attack Sindel?" Naruto exclaimed as he stood in the fireball's path and defended Sindel. Naruto ran toward Onaga and stunned the Dragon King by hurling his warhammer in Onaga's face. As the two fell, Naruto tackled Onaga off the balcony. As the two collapsed, Naruto struck Onaga in the chest with his fist because he sensed that both his wind and Kyuubi powers were returning to him. As the Rasengan took shape, Naruto raised his right hand in the air. Naruto's eyes turned crimson red, and Onaga's eyes widened in terror. "Your rule is over, the time has come." Onaga's yellow dragon eyes filled Naruto with fear. With all of his strength, Naruto yelled, "You will die," and used his magic and wind power to impale Onaga in the heart with a Rasengan fist. When the two eventually descended the tower, they collided in the palace throne room. Many people inside the palace walls were drawn in by the sound of the crash. When Sindel arrived, he discovered Naruto standing atop Onaga. Onaga had lifeless eyes that were white. Naruto groaned to indicate that he was still alive. Naruto rolled over to reveal the big hole in Onaga's chest. One of Onaga's holy men said, "The king is dead." With Sindel's assistance, Naruto slowly stood up. 20 of Onaga's holy men were needed to lift Onaga's heavy body as they approached it. Naruto yelled, "Where are you taking him?" The leader of the holy men turned to face Naruto and said, "To his resting place. Outworld no longer has a king. Outworld will be doomed without a leader, a powerful one." After saying that, the leader of the holy men left the throne room. Using all of his strength to fight Onaga, Naruto collapsed to his knees and exclaimed, Finally I am free from him." Naruto then blacked out. Without a king or leader, Onaga's reign came to an end, and Outworld would perish. However, the throne is vacant and awaits a new ruler. Long live the emperor, for the king is no more. Naruto triumphs. Death, Outworld. Shao Kahn's throne room in the present. "You let me down. I've been waiting for 500 years, now I have to wait for 500 more. Shao Kahn was furious to hear that Earth Realm had won the 10th tournament. Shang Tsung told his master, "My lord, all is not lost." As he returned to his throne and sat down to curse the elder gods and their competition, Shao Kahn turned away in disgust, saying, "I should have taken Earth Realm by force. But I am bound by their rules, rules that cannot be broken." Shang attempted to attract Shao Kahn's attention by saying, "My lord." "Kill him," commanded Shao Kahn. But what if the rules were changed? Princess Katana held her fan blades near Shang's throat, forcing him to his knees while Baraka and Reptile held him in place. Shang hoped his words would save his life. Katana, according to Shao Kahn, was his stepdaughter. Before taking Shang's life, she stopped. Shang sighed with relief that he had captured Shao Kahn's interest. Continue. Shao Kahn didn't like the idea of giving up on Earth Realm forever, but this offer was too good to pass up. "Earth Realm will be under attack unless Raiden accepted. Please give me the chance. I shall have everything ready, my lord." "He will submit to your rules, my lord." What if the rules were changed to a single tournament here in Outworld? If Outworld wins, Earth Realm is ours. But if Outworld loses, then we give up on Earth Realm forever. Shao Kahn stops to reflect. "Let him live, he has proven to be useful to you before, hasn't he, Naruto? He is just a worming begging not to be picked by the birds." "Fine, I will give you one more chance, Shang Tsung, do not fail me. But tomorrow is another day." Shao Kahn rose up from his throne. Concerned, Shang Tsung asked, "My lord?" Shao Kahn declared, "Tomorrow, I must rest." "You are lucky he has chosen to spare your life, Shang Tsung," Baraka said. The bedroom of Shao Kahn. Shao Kahn took a seat on the edge of his spacious bed. Shao Kahn reflected on his rise to prominence and how he earned the moniker Shao Kahn during his early years as Emperor of Outworld. After the death of Onaga the Dragon King, flashback. Naruto awakened to find himself in a different place. He was certain it wasn't Outworld. The room he was in was clean and had a strong fresh smell. When Naruto turned to face himself, he noticed that his forearms and chest were bandaged. He asked himself, "Where am I?" As Naruto turned to see who was at the door, the small room's door opened wide. It was Sindel, who was accompanied by 2 Edenian knights at her sides. Sindel asked her hero, "How are you feeling, Naruto?" "I'm fine. I still feel like I got kicked and tossed around, but I'll live. Where am I?" Naruto is informed by Sindel that, "A week has passed since you defeated Onaga. You are here in Edenia. You are within my palace." Naruto looked at his hands and said, "A week, I see." He could feel his old, original powers flowing through him, but everything felt a little different now. "I can sense that I'm healing, but it's happening slowly. It will take time to figure it out." Sindel objected to Naruto getting out of bed, saying, "You shouldn't be moving so soon." Naruto grinned, knowing that Sindel was concerned about his health and safety, but he was confident that he was okay. "I should get going. I thank you, Sindel, but I am fine. I have rested enough." "Where are you going?" "To Outworld. There is something I need to deal with." "There's nothing for you there. Outworld is in chaos. Without Onaga the realm will surely fall apart." After a brief period of silence, Naruto said, "Pardon me, Sindel, but I have to leave because I have business there." The Netherrealm. Naruto travels to the Netherrealm to see the former elder god Shinnok after lying to Sindel. Naruto meets Shinnok in the same wasteland where they first met. Shinnok was delighted to see Naruto back with him. "I take it Onaga rules no longer." Naruto waited to see what Shinnok would give the warrior. "I took care of him. He was a pain in the ass, but I got the job done. Now as promised, isn't there something you wanted to tell me?" Naruto asked. "The elder gods simply tricked you, my dear boy. I was once an elder god, I know them, I know how they think. You are not a threat to your own former realm, they simply want to remove you from Earth Realm. That realm is a very special realm. But by accepting their so-called kind offer, you are forbidden to return to your home realm." "I don't understand," Naruto said, his eyes changing from confusion to rage. "Because the power you have, the same power they grant you. You are something more than just a human who outlived his normal life. You are a threat to the elder gods. But the gods do not wish to shed your blood, so they trick you and send you on your way. But they wish you will not know the truth if you did. They were afraid you would one day overthrow them and end their rule. The elder gods had ruled long enough. They feared through you the one being might return. After everything, Naruto wasn't sure he should trust Shinnok because he had previously been an elder god. After a brief period of silence, Naruto turned away from the previous god. Hurts to be tricked by a god? Naruto left the Netherrealm's wastelands, saying, I don't care, I have a new home now. There is an empty throne waiting for me. Farewell Shinnok, may you rule the Netherrealm in peace. He grinned. This will not be the last time we shall meet, young Emperor. Outworld. The throne room of Onaga. When Naruto returned to Outworld in Onaga's palace, castle, he noticed that the enormous hole he and Onaga had created when they crashed through the ceiling was still there. Onaga's blood remained on the ground. Rats were scuttling across the floor, and the throne was deserted. It was an absolute mess. Naruto would explain it later, but he didn't care. When Naruto took a seat on Onaga's throne, he felt nothing different and no overwhelming power was bestowed upon him. He told himself, more hollow than I thought. A shadow monk emerged from the floors, and Naruto snapped his right fingers. The shadow monk disappeared in front of Naruto, saying, Onaga no longer rules, spend the word. I am now rule Outworld. Outworld is now mine. Naruto still couldn't tell if he had fully recovered his former abilities. What about the rest of his wind chakra power? He can perform the Rasengan. I guess it is as they said, out with the old and in with the new. Naruto murmured. Even though he knew this would be difficult, he didn't feel very well. He had always aspired to be a powerful leader, but he recalled what Itachi had said to him that day. A leader is someone who is powerful on his way. A leader is someone who others believe and will offer their strength to give him closer to his goal. I need supports. If I don't, I'll end up just like Madara. There no way in hell I will end up as that cold-blooded bastard. Naruto grumbles with rage. Onaga's room. All of Onaga's possessions now belong to Naruto since his death. Naruto went through the former ruler's room. Onaga's room was spacious and filled with numerous books and objects. Onaga collected a lot of objects and books that contained these kinds of spells. Just as he had left the Dragon King's chamber, Naruto left Onaga's. From behind him, Naruto heard a tiny voice. A small child was standing behind Naruto when he turned to look back. The child resembled a lizard rather than a typical human child. He was two-footed, had yellow eyes like a reptile, and had a lizard-like mouth. The young child had a dagger in his right hand, as Naruto could see. Coming to end my life, child? The child asked, his eyes full of sadness and rage, which Naruto could read with ease. He lost something or someone. Naruto just stared at the lizard child without saying anything. He asked the young lizard, is it my life you want to end? The lizard said, child, tell me your name, and shook his head. The youngster said, I don't have one. Tell me who you came to kill. The lizard child fell to his knees and fainted, saying, the king, he came to my world. I don't remember, my head hurts. Naruto sprinted towards the young lizard. Naruto carried the child away to a secure location inside the chamber, saying, just a head wound. Onaga must have taken over a realm before I killed him. Later that evening, the room of the throne Chaos paid Naruto a visit. After learning of Onaga's passing, Havoc traveled to Outworld to observe its current state of chaos. Havoc was dressed the same way he had met Naruto. Havoc expressed his satisfaction with the state of affairs by saying, ah, beautiful, the world is within such chaos. Onaga's ruler is over and now begins the reign of chaos. As he listened to Havoc's words, Naruto sat on his newly acquired throne. Havoc, tell me, what else shall I do? I know many will not be pleased by my rule. I have already planned what to do those that will not accept me. Now that Onaga is gone, there is no much to do. Naruto was beaming with joy. You who are in charge of Outworld will be in chaotic hands. Chaos is truly the way of life. We are all chaotic through birth and death. Havoc laughs at first, and then the throne room doors suddenly open wide. As Naruto turned his attention to the person entering his throne room, Havoc said, ah, we have guest. The fact that it was King Jared and his Edenian knights surprised Naruto a little. At first, Naruto remained silent, merely listening to what the king had to say. So the rumors were true. You take the throne, the monarch replied. Naruto smiled amiably and asked, are you that surprises? Naruto was aware that both of them would be concerned that he would turn into another Onaga. Don't worry, I have no interest becoming another Onaga. I have won my freedom and now I wish to live my new life as ruler and protector of this realm. Outworld is in chaos now. The reign of Onaga is over. Naruto replied with a calming expression on his face. Naruto, we wish to form a path with Outworld. Outworld's military are powerful. With Outworld and Edenia combined, wars and death will be under control, King Jared said. Havoc laughed out loud. Fool, you simply cannot control such things. Do you really believe controlling is an easy task? Onaga was a fool to believe he had everything under control with order, and look what it got him. Havoc, I got this. King Jared the First could allow this path to be formed, but there is something I want in return. What is it? What you want in return? He paused before responding to the King of Edenia. Allies, people I can trust. Now these days you can be betrayed by even the very people you save. I was Onaga's right hand and I betrayed him. I will not make that mistake like he did. I've seen your world, King Jared, filled with beauty and life, much like my former home Earth realm. But I cannot allow this path to be formed if it will place both of our realms in danger. King Jared was aware of Naruto's motivations for assuming power, even though he hasn't yet gained everyone's confidence. He needed people he could truly trust, warriors and servants. So tell me, King Jared, what can you offer me? We are both rulers of our realms. I need something that will seal the deal of our friendship, our trust. Naruto's warm smile never caused anyone in the room to feel uneasy, but his tone of voice was friendly enough to give the impression that he was hiding something. I have nothing to offer you at the time. Naruto quickly figured out, that is fine. Take your time. In the meantime, I need to rebuild Outworld. King Jared tells Queen Sindel, Outworld is in safe hands. With King Jared and his men leaving Naruto's palace as Havoc turned to his chaotic brother of chaos, surely you will not hold to his promise? Calm down, Havoc. Outworld is now mine. I need to rebuild her to her true form. Onaga left a nasty scar on her. Order is nice, but too much is a kill. This world needs chaos to shape her into her true beautiful form. Laughing lightly, Havoc said, fitting words, Naruto. They're powerful races that live here in Outworld. If you win their trust, I believe they will be the strong you will need. Onaga's soldiers have disappeared. Although Naruto never placed Havoc or offered him a position as his right hand man, he still asked, tell me the names of these races, Havoc. After all, Havoc was merely chaotic and neither good nor evil. He was helping out of self-interest. The Shokan, the Centaur and the Tarkatan, these powerful three races live within Outworld. Onaga has been at war with them for some time. Each of these races have challenged Onaga for the throne of Outworld. Surely you have at least encountered one of them? Sadly, I have not. But I have heard of the Shokan before. I have much work to do. Yes, surely they will not accept you by your current form. My current form? You are indeed a worthy foe, but if you are to become Onaga's successor and become greater than he, you must show it and become it. Looking at his current form, Naruto realized that it had been hundreds of years. He still had the same appearance as the young adult he was hundreds of years ago. However, Naruto was abruptly teleported out of his throne room before he could take any further action. Where did he go? The Elder God's realm. Naruto discovered that he was in the Elder God's domain. Naruto surveyed his surroundings as the Elder Gods surrounded him. When he saw them, Naruto frowned, wondering what they wanted from him. What do you want? To congratulate you on defeating Onaga. He planned to fuse the realms, calming them as his. He had to be stopped, and you stop him. Once again you stop a great threat from destroying the realms. The Elder Gods spoke at the same time. With his arms folded across his chest, Naruto said, you are going to give me another power, or are you just going to lie to me another? I've met Shinnok. The female Elder God being said, do not believe him, he will only tell you lies, nothing more. A second female Elder God said, yes, his mouth is full of lies. He once tried to take over Earth Realm for himself. I don't know who to believe and who to trust. This world is new to me. It's only been few hundred years and yet I still feel I'm new to this. The power you gave me, you never told me what it was. What is it? The power you were given, the power of own being. We surely just awaken your true strength, the truth that lies within you. You defeated Onaga out of your heart desire. What was it that made it possible? Asked the gods. Naruto recalled his motivation. He desired both freedom and Sindel's safety. Even though they barely know one another, Naruto felt a powerful connect between them. Sindel was a goddess, unlike any woman he had ever seen. Whether it was willpower or desire, he was determined to save her at all costs. She was love at first sight, and he fell in love with her, but she was out of his reach once more. It was because someone needed me and I had to do something. I wasn't going to let Onaga get away with it. I shall hate him even after his death. I curse him forever. Long as I am Emperor of Outworld, none shall take my place. Naruto yelled to the deities with every air. One of the gods said, but you do not have the strength to keep that promise, do you? It doesn't matter. I'll protect and rule this world with my last breath. Long as I rule Outworld, there is not a single soul of evil or any force that will replace me. I didn't become the ruler of my original home. I shall become ruler of Outworld. Outworld is my new home. I rather die than give it up to another. Naruto laughed out loud. Your words speak true, young emperor. The gods there were a little alarmed by Naruto's statement. I am a man of his word. I would fight even you to keep my rule. Forgive us for lying to you, young emperor. But you are that remains of that beast. You will one day revive it, be it you or your children. We cannot allow that thing to return. You must understand. The one being must not return. Keeping you away from Earthrealm is the only way. The second female elder god gives an explanation to the young ruler. But I will tell you this, one day I shall return to my former realm. You will not stop me. I will return, one day. Maybe not today, maybe not now, or even thousands of years from now. But I will return to my home, and not even you will stop me. I know all of my friends and loved ones are dead. I do not care if it brings the return of the Jubi. You cannot keep me from my birth realm. I'll murder the Jubi if I must. Naruto's eyes slowly turned red as the elder gods were able to observe the hateful spirit within him. The oldest of the elder gods said, You are a fool to challenge us. We are the creators of the realms. Naruto's focus shifted to the third male elder god, who was the oldest. What they thought didn't really matter to Naruto. Creators of the realms, and yet you are afraid of one thing. No, I take that back. The Jubi and Onaga, I defeated both of them. Jubi, you helped me because you were afraid, and Onaga I defeated on my own without your help. If you need a champion, go look for someone else. I am not your tool. If you summon me again or stay in my way of my rule, I promise you the Jubi and Onaga will be the least of your worries. You are truly a fool. You will die challenging us. We help you defeat the Jubi. We gave you power. That very same power helped you defeat Onaga. Without us you will not be powerful as you are. Minato and Kushina were fools to believe that you will spend your new life protecting others. Then it struck Naruto in the stomach like a Rasengan. Naruto's expression changed from one of anger to rage. Naruto glanced at the elderly elder gods. You lay a finger on my parents' soul, I promise you will die. Elder gods or not, I will slay you where you stand. My parents gave their lives to save me and my whole village. Where were you? The world could have needed your help. You could have done something. I was told to be the child of destiny. I battle many powerful enemies, some even battle alone, and I still won my battles. I lost my parents, my whole damn family that one night. None of the elder gods said anything to Naruto. They all remained silent. I thought so. For some reason, all of the elder gods abandoned Naruto. A voice that was familiar said, Wow, you frightened even the gods. Naruto turned to face the person behind him. Naruto appeared both surprised and delighted, and his parents, Kushina Uzumaki and Minato Namikaze, were standing behind him. Minato grinned and said, Hey kiddo. Naruto rushed over to give his parents a heartfelt hug. As Naruto wept for his parents, Kushina gave him a pat on the head. You would slay even an elder god for touching us, and here I thought I was overprotected. Kushina is chuckling lightly. Mom, Dad. I miss you guys so much. Minato was beaming. We know Naruto, we know. But you have a new life for you. You can do so much with the power you have. You're our son. We believe in you no matter what you do. We know you won't walk down that path of hell. We know you are our light and hope. Naruto was convinced by Kushina's smile that his parents would be alright even in the afterlife. Got that right. Might as well knock a few heads down the way. You take after both of us, Naruto. You're our son, damn it. Naruto looked back and saw what appeared to be a young man wearing a straw hat on his head and a white and blue outfit. So you are Naruto Uzumaki. White as the clouds were the man's eyes. He questioned the unidentified individual. Who are you? I am Raiden, god of thunder. I was the one who killed your parents to the afterlife. They deserve their place in heaven, Naruto. Onaga was a horrible ruler of Outworld. I pray and hope you will not turn out to be just like him. Make your parents proud of you. Live your life. Raiden said to the young emperor, believing he would be the hope Outworld would need. Don't worry, Raiden, I am a man of my word. Outworld is mine now, I shall make her better. It was good seeing you, Mom. Dad, take care. Tell everyone I said hi and well, see ya. Before Naruto's eyes, Kushina and Minato disappear, going back to heaven, where all of his loved ones are now resting. The last surviving ninja of his generation was Naruto. He was somewhat immortal. He was an Uzumaki, he had long lives, he was tough. Before Raiden vanished and returning Naruto to Outworld. Raiden, he called the name of the Thunder God. Yes, Naruto? Raiden nods his head and asks, This is my new life, current? Since this is my new life, I cannot let the past hold me no longer. The future now has me. From this day on the realms and gods shall know me by a new name. Naruto grew a big smile on his face. What name will that be? It shall be a powerful name. I know down the line I will fight and even kill. I don't want to bring shame to the Uzumaki name. From this day forward all shall know me as Shao Kahn, Emperor of Outworld. Present timeline. Shao Kahn's powerful demon like eyes snapped open. As he got out of bed, he had another thought or dream about his childhood. The initial steps he took to become the ruler of Outworld and how he came to be the strong, feared, respected, and adored figure he is today by his Outworld people. Shao Kahn reflected further on his early years as Emperor of Outworld. Do you still believe in me even now, mother, father? Years are nothing more than memories for me. Have I changed so much? He asked himself. He was the strongest and most powerful person in Outworld. He was the Outworld's Shao Kahn Emperor. Outworld. Shao Kahn's palace in the current timeline. As Shao Kahn made his way through his palace's hall, he noticed that someone was standing on the balcony. Princess Katana, his stepdaughter, was there in her dark blue nightgown. Katana was staring out to the beautiful view of the night. Katana, he spoke her name. Father, Katana said, bowing her head to her stepfather and emperor as she turned to face Shao Kahn, who was standing there with his hands behind his back. Katana appeared to be about to walk away, but Kahn intervened. Worry not, Katana. I will not remain here much longer. Katana nodded, and Kahn asked, something on your mind, Katana? After noticing that his stepdaughter was upset about something. Shao Kahn put his hands on Katana's shoulders and Katana nodded briefly before saying, Father, I always wanted to know how you and mother met. I know I am nothing but your stepdaughter. Kahn turned to see someone hiding in the shadows and said, stepdaughter or not, you are a princess of Outworld. Katana remembers that. I love Sindel and you both. And I loved your mother very much. She was strong and beautiful as her daughter. Melina, Shao Kahn's second loved daughter, emerged from the shadows. As she emerged from the shadows, Melina appeared a little bashful. Like Katana, Melina wore a nightgown, but unlike Katana's, Melina's was pink-colored. As Katana didn't feel envious or jealous of her sister, she smiled at Melina and said, I wish to know as well, father. Melina then approached her sister and father and gave him a tender hug. Kahn gave Melina a head pat and said, I shall tell you both of this, how I met Sindel. Almost 10,000 years ago Onaga was no longer the ruler of Outworld. He was now its emperor, and he turned into the Outworld's emperor Shao Kahn. Only one person still referred to him as Naruto Uzumaki, even though he was no longer known by that name. For almost a millennium, Shao Kahn was in charge of Outworld. Throughout the millennium, he has amassed a large number of warriors and allies. Shao Kahn has used his powerful Chaos War hammer to unleash the power of his chaotic abilities. Was it the chaotic power he so heavily tapped into that caused Naruto's appearance to change during his reign? He was Shao Kahn, so it made no difference to him. To many, he was a warlord, to others, he was a hero. Although Naruto's Uzumaki form had not completely changed, his eyes remained a brilliant blue, his body had changed, his height had doubled since he vanquished Onaga and assumed the throne. The young lizard child, whom Naruto named Reptile, was one of the many items and plans Onaga had for Outworld and the realms themselves that Naruto discovered. Become part of the plans Onaga had for Naruto as he sent him on missions prior to his demise. The moment Naruto overthrew Onaga and ascended to the throne, the numerous realms that Onaga had conquered and gradually fused into Outworld came to an end. Since Reptile was thought to be the last of his kind, Naruto decided to have him on his side as one of his enforcers out of sympathy. Despite being a close friend and ally, Havoc left Outworld to return his beloved realm, the realm of Chaos, because he wanted Naruto to rule in a chaotic manner. Since all three of them were excellent candidates to be his servants, Naruto had not selected his favorite race in Outworld. Edenia was one of them worlds Onaga had on his list to take over, but since Naruto stopped him. Their army was strong but not as strong as Outworld's forces due to Onaga's unbeatable army, so there was no need to conquer Edenia. But Naruto had his own army, the soldiers of Outworld, who believes him as the true ruler of Outworld, their war lord, their hero, their master. One day, Sindel, the queen of Edenia, paid Naruto a visit. Naruto was delighted to see the stunning queen of Edenia again. As stunning as ever, she was unlike any female goddess or mortal Naruto had ever seen in terms of beauty. As if she were an old friend, Naruto got up from his throne to welcome the queen of Edenia. Sindel, welcome to Outworld, what brings you? He asks, giving Sindel a firm hug in return. Sindel seemed interested in what Naruto was up to. I came to see you. How were you, Naruto? It's been some time since we last met. I hear rumors of your work. Outworld's forces growing through the ranks. Naruto chuckled. I am just rebuilding Outworld. Onaga left it in a broken state. His undefeatable army has disappeared, leaving me no army to protect Outworld. I post no threat to Edenia. Sindel, worry not, the safest of your realm. Sindel genuinely cares about Naruto and says, it is not Edenia I am worried about, Naruto. I am afraid to see you be overcome with power. Power can change someone who innocent and pure into a blood-hungry monster. Then he opens his eyes for a moment. I am not the monster that become Onaga. I never got the chance to make my dream come true in my former life. But here in my new life I can do so much. I am an emperor my people respects. Loves me, I am their hero, their emperor. Sindel grinned and said, indeed you are. Sindel was dressed in the royal Edenian robe, and Naruto examined her from head to toe. How long? Inquired Naruto. Huh? Sindel asked, looking perplexed. Naruto asked, you are with child, are you not? Yes, I am, but it will be a long time before this one is born. I am only 2 months pregnant, Sindel said, laughing broadly. Sindel nods her head. Jared is the father. Yes he is, and a daughter we shall have. I also came to ask you, may you come join us when she is born? Sindel couldn't laugh at the idea, so Naruto crossed his arms over his chest and said, I really don't think an emperor of my state is fitting to be there at the birth of your daughter, let alone come to a baby shower. At sure, even a powerful emperor needs a break or two, don't get all stiff up. I am sure even in your old life you had fun, Sindel said, elbowing Naruto at his right side. The smirking Naruto said, I wouldn't lie about that. Fine, I'll be there. Naruto couldn't say no, especially to someone as attractive as Sindel. I would like you to be her godfather. If anything happens to us, I want you to look after her. Would you do that, Naruto, to honor a small request from a friend? Naruto shakes his head. I shall raise her as my own, but I highly doubt you or your husband would die. Sindel kissed Naruto's right side of his face and said, there's no need to hide your feelings. Even an emperor should show his true feelings. If you were to die, I would miss you too, Naruto. Naruto remained on his throne as Sindel departed. One day, Sindel, one day. Back in the present. I loved Sindel, I always have ever since I first lay my eyes on her. But she always been out of my reach. She was married to your real father Katana, King Jared. Jealous, I was a deep envy burned in my heart for not having Sindel. I still curse Onaga for that curses move he did. Now I have 2 beautiful daughters, my step daughter and you, my sweet Melina. Katana and Melina were both a little taken aback when Shao Kahn revealed a face they had never seen before. He took off his skull helmet and showed them his true face with a simple wave of his right hand, causing Katana and Melina to blush a little. He's attractive, Katana thought. Daddy is really attractive, Melina thought. It wasn't long until your birth draw near, Katana. I came to Edenia to see the birth of my step daughter. That day was the day I came into Sindel's life truly. Shao Kahn grinned, quickly turning into the person everyone knows as Shao Kahn, and then scowled. Although I cannot regain my original form fully thanks to the elder gods for cursing me, the memories of my original form still remains in my soul. A decade ago. 9 months later, naturally, Reptile accompanied Naruto when he entered the realm of Edenia. Naruto and Reptile entered the Edenian palace's throne room. When Naruto entered, he saw Queen Sindel sitting on her throne next to King Jared. There was a lovely newborn baby sleeping in Sindel's arms. Naruto laughed heartily before addressing the Edenian king and queen. So this is the princess of Edenia now. I came the moment your messenger entered my throne room. Looks like I missed the birth. Naruto continues to laugh. King Jared smiled amiably and said, indeed, but it matters not. Welcome to see our daughter is what you came for, is it not? I suppose you are not. Princess of Edenia, a fitting title she shall have. Have you named her? Naruto said with a sly smile and a small laugh. King Jared remarked, no, we have not. I was hoping even you have thought up a name for your goddaughter emperor. Naruto was aware of the name she would be given and would always go by. However, everyone was taken aback when a loud explosion occurred close to the palace. Uncertain of what was happening, Naruto scowled. Reptile outside now. Naruto exclaimed to his bodyguard. Reptile fled the throne room as soon as possible and entered the area outside the palace where the explosion occurred. King Jared said, Sindel, stay here. I'll go see what happened. King Jared and Naruto departed to investigate the source and identity of the explosion. As Naruto emerged from the palace walls, he witnessed a reptile engaged in combat with a large, multicolored creature. Naruto had no idea what or who this creature was. However, Naruto recognized a voice that he hadn't heard in hundreds of years. A man wearing a black coat with a black hood over his head caught Naruto's attention as he turned to his right. He saw the man's face when he took off his hood. When Naruto saw what was in front of him, he frowned deeply. Sasuke, said Naruto. Sasuke Uchiha, who was once Naruto's best friend, smiled evilly and said, "It's been what, nearly 1,000 of years since we last met. However, years have passed since the two clashed." Naruto recalls defeating Sasuke that day, but he didn't kill him either. Naruto never had the courage to kill Sasuke, and he now feels that his stupid decision will come back to haunt him. Sasuke appeared older and almost resembled Madara Uchiha. Sasuke was immortal because he possessed the eternal Sharingan. "I am surprised to see you are alive after all of these years, Naruto." Sasuke laughed. Naruto chuckled. "Yes, I suppose so. After all, I am an Uzumaki. Like you, I am reached my own immortality, Sasuke, without the need to take the eyes of another. After that battle you left me defeated and my pride is broken. You disappear. I was wondering where you went that day. Hiding in another world like a coward, huh? Now I see why you weren't there at Konoha when she fell that day." Sasuke chuckled. "What did you do, Sasuke?" Naruto asked, grinning. Sasuke laughed. "What else? I told you that day. Konoha is my enemy and everyone within it. I killed them all. I murdered them left and right. It was easy. Everyone was tired from the war. So it was an easy picking, especially with Sakura, Kakashi, Hinata, even Tsunade." Sasuke was suddenly lifted off his feet by an unidentified force. Even after allowing him to survive and believing that defeating him would alter his way of life, Naruto was so enraged that he couldn't believe it. Sasuke had gone and done the most foolish and regrettable thing he would always regret. "You murder everyone. You murder our home. Konoha was your home too. Did you forget that?" Naruto's war hammer materialized in his right hand, burning a deep, dark green energy as it fed off of his rage. As their gazes locked, Naruto grabbed Sasuke by the throat and said, "Don't get mad at me, Naruto. It's your fault as well. You weren't there for them. You weren't there to protect them. Because of you everyone is dead." Suddenly, Sasuke's enormous guardian struck Naruto, saying, "You are dead to me, Sasuke. You are friends no longer. You are my enemy and you will die instead." Sasuke chuckled at Naruto, but his laugh soon became more sinister and deep. When Sasuke's hair turned white and his Sharingan eyes changed into yellow Sharingan, his appearance abruptly changed. "Sorry to say, Naruto-kun, but Sasuke has been dead since the day you defeated him. He saw his mistakes, but I made sure you remembered. I took his body and his soul after you weakened him. I must thank you, Naruto-kun." Naruto was shocked to learn that this wasn't Sasuke, but rather Kabuto, Orochimaru's right-hand man and one of his most formidable adversaries from his previous life. "Kabuto!" and exclaimed Naruto, with an evil chuckle. "Oh, it's been years since I heard my name being called. I see you have gained new allies during your rule, and my Naruto-kun, you have gained new strength as well." King Jared and Reptile were battling Kabuto's enormous undead guardian, who Naruto had never encountered in his previous life. Both King Jared and Reptile moved quickly. While Naruto attended to his business with Kabuto, Reptile and King Jared collaborated. As the undead protector's face briefly blinded him, Reptile sprayed acid. With an Edenian sword, King Jared impaled the undead giant after leaping on his back. Despite howling in agony, the undead giant snatches King Jared and throws him off his back. After recovering in midair, King Jared remarked, "It will take more skills to defeat me." The reptile produced what looks to be a bubble orb of acid and hurled it at the undead giant's face. The undead giant showed no signs of pain, and his face gradually melted. A tiny earthquake is created when the undead giant simply slams its fists into the ground. Regarding Naruto and Kabuto, Kabuto was as nimble as ever, avoiding Naruto's blows whenever he had an opportunity to use his war hammer. Naruto never liked Kabuto after learning that he was employed by Orochimaru. When Naruto threw his war hammer at Kabuto, the latter leapt over it and scoffed at Naruto's shoddy aim. But when Kabuto was abruptly struck from behind, Naruto laughed aloud. Like a boomerang, Naruto's war hammer reappeared. As his head wound heals, Kabuto laughs and says, "You have powerful indeed, Naruto-kun." "I don't call me that. You don't have the right, you backstabbing bastard," said Naruto. He gripped his war hammer firmly, prepared to knock Kabuto down at any moment and smash his head. "Odd, did I hurt your feeling? You were always weak, Naruto, never strong like Sasuke-kun, never deadly as Orochimaru. Sama. You were always dead last." Kabuto calls forth two beings by making a hand sign and smashing his right palm on the ground. When Naruto sees the two creatures that Kabuto summoned on the battlefield, his eyes enlarge in horror. When Naruto saw that they were now Kabuto's slaves, he was devastated because each of them had a blank expression on their faces. Sakura. Chan Kakashi. Sensei, no, this can't be. Naruto sensed that his anger was turning into rage. Naruto concentrated his energy on this attack while holding his war hammer high in the air and smashing it down. Two spike pillars emerged from the ground, impaling the zombies Sakura and Kakashi and preventing them from battling Naruto. The ground shook violently. Before slamming his head into Kabuto's head, Naruto grabs Kabuto by the throat and slams his face into the ground twice. Naruto. Sakura's voice called out to Naruto. Sakura grinned and said, "Thank you." As Kakashi released their souls and allowed them to enter heaven, her and his zombie ground crumbled and turned to dust. According to Naruto, "Go and be free." Naruto averted his gaze from Kabuto's lifeless body. Naruto turned to see the undead giant had been killed by King Jared and Reptile. The undead giant's face and neck were spotted with acid, and its forehead was stabbed. Being happy to serve his master, Reptile approached Naruto and bowed his head, saying, "You have done well, Reptile." King Jared said, "It would appear that was someone you know?" Naruto glanced back at Kabuto's corpse. "You could say that. Stolen the body of my former best friend, he thought he could gain immortality. A fool to no end. What's the point of immortality if it means to go insane by loneness? And yet Onaga was looking for it for so long." Shaking his head, Naruto said, "Yet he was even a footstep near it." Naruto was told by King Jared, "Come, I will have my guards clean this mess." Sindel yelled, "Jared," at her husband. When King Jared turned to look behind him, his cherished wife was there, emerging to observe the situation. Envious, Naruto observed Jared and Sindel tending to each other. Wishes he would have been in Jared's place. Reptile said, "Masters SS, what do we do now? For now we leave, we return to Outworld. But not before we take Kabuto's body with us. I will make sure you will not return again." Reptile understood his master's orders. Reptile looked to Kabuto's body and saw it was gone. "Masters, ITSSS gone." "What?" Naruto asked as he turned to see Kabuto's body. "That bastard, where's is he hiding now?" Naruto growled. Kabuto abruptly emerged from the ground in front of Naruto, opening his mouth to release a sword. As Kabuto flew straight to the king and queen of Edenia, Naruto and Reptile swiftly moved to the side, missing them. Naruto yelled, "No, Jared!" Sindel run at them. King Jared noticed Kabuto approaching. "Begone, you fiend!" exclaimed King Jared as he ran toward Kabuto while brandishing a blade. His eyes burned fearlessly. Kabuto's right fist went straight through Jared's left side of his chest, but Jared cut Kabuto's head off his shoulders. "Jared, no!" exclaimed Sindel. Jared coughed up a lot of blood from his mouth and collapsed to his knees. Jared laughed. "Looks like you couldn't even save your new friend, huh, Naruto-kun? Despite having decapitated Kabuto." Naruto slammed his right foot into Kabuto's face and stomped his brains out of his head, saying, "I told you don't call me that. I am Naruto Uzumaki, no longer I am Shao Kahn, Emperor of Outworld." Returning to the current timeline, Shao Kahn's eyes were filled with a deep, burning hatred as he said, "Jared gave his life to protect you and Sindel. Edenia have lost their king and Sindel was in despair she couldn't recover her loss of Jared." Melina questioned, "What happened next?" Katana was able to sense Shao Kahn's suffering. Before he finished where he was, Shao Kahn gazed up at the outworld sky. Shao Kahn smiled as he reflected, it was a week after Jared's death and Edenia wasn't holding up. Jared's death took a heavy toll on Sindel's heart. So I went to Edenia alone that day. Flashback. A week following the demise of King Jared. Edenia. The palace of Sindel. One of the guards informed Naruto, Queen Sindel does not wish to have any visitor emperor. With a disapproving expression on his face, Naruto said, "Stand aside, guard. I wish to see Sindel and I shall." The second guard told Naruto, "She has not healed, not since that fiend attacked our king. He knows of you, thus it was your fault our king is dead, emperor." As he opens the doors to Sindel's throne room, Naruto throws the second guard aside and grabs him by the neck, saying, "I will see Sindel and you will not stand in my way." As Naruto descended to Queen Sindel's throne room, he saw Sindel by herself, clutching her unnamed daughter. "Sindel," he said. With a voice as cold as ice, Sindel asked, "What is it you want from Emperor? Since Jared's passing, she has become a chilly queen." Naruto appeared agitated. "You two out of all people? What do I have left beside my daughter? My people believes because of you Jared is dead. They want your head, I can't protect you from them." Sindel looks downcast. "I don't need protection, Sindel. I could have this realm for myself if I wanted to." Naruto sighed before speaking, his eyes displaying a serious expression. "Sindel, do you think I am the enemy here? Jared's death wasn't our fault. He gave his life to save you and your daughter's life. He died as a king. How could Sindel be angry with Naruto if she believed him? Nevertheless, Kabuto continued to be Naruto's adversary from the past. Truth be told, I blame myself. I should have made sure Kabuto was dead. I can't bring Jared back to life, but I can make sure what he protected and loved is safe. Naruto gave a bow to Queen Sindel. Sindel closed her eyes and wept, saying, Naruto, you are my friend and an ally to Edenia. You defeated the Dragon King and saved me while doing so. I own you greatly. Naruto was now confronted by Sindel as he removed a tear from his lovely face. Shed no tears, Sindel, for I do not wish to see you cry ever again. Sindel, ever since we first met I have always been in love with you. But since my days as Onaga's slave I was kept from reaching your heart. Jared claimed your heart during my days as a slave to Onaga. I was jealous of Jared. I know I cannot replace the love you have for him. But you cannot rule Edenia with your will, drowning in sorrow. Your daughter's future rests in your hands, Sindel. Sindel was stunned and said, Naruto, I don't know what to say. Say yes and become my empress. Rule by my side. Together we can make Edenia and Outworld more powerful than they ever were, together as one world, one soul, one realm. Sindel saw that Naruto was genuinely in love with her and only her. He desired for her to become his wife, lover, and empress. Together Katana can have a future worth looking for, he concluded. Sindel grinned as she gazed down at her cherished daughter, saying, Katana, Katana, my daughter. Yes, Katana, your daughter, princess of Edenia and Outworld. Naruto laughed. Sindel put her right hand on Naruto's chest and said, yes, together, together for Katana's sake and for Edenia. She could feel Sindel embracing him as her emperor. As they kiss, Sindel's lovely, soft lips meet Naruto's, creating a new love between them and sealing Edenia's and Outworld's destiny as one soul, one kingdom, one realm. The bedroom of Naruto. Sindel took a seat on the edge of Naruto's bed and placed Katana in a crib close to the bed. The elder gods forbade merging the realms of Outworld and Edenia, which were now one. They didn't matter to Naruto. All that mattered to him was Katana's future and Sindel's love. Naruto, thank you. Sindel grinned kindly. I care for you, Sindel. In my old life I never had the chance to tell the woman I loved how I felt about her. But in this new life of mine I will never make a second mistake. Sindel, I love you and I always will. Sindel rests her head on Naruto's right shoulder. I pray the elder gods will forgive me for what I have done. The people of Edenia, they will not be forgiving of you. They will believe I was tricked by you or forced. With a HNMP sound, Naruto said, I care less what they think. All I care about you and Katana. I have my respect of my people. The people of Edenia will slow learn. Sindel felt her emperor holding her shoulders as they shared their newly discovered love, and she gave him a passionate kiss. Sindel was laid down on the bed by Naruto. Sindel was always stunning, especially when she wore her nightgown. Naruto was between Sindel's legs, so she spread them wide. As Naruto's fingers slowly rubbed her against her lower lips, Sindel let out a small moan. The index and middle fingers of Naruto's right hand began to slowly press against and penetrate Sindel's pussy. Muttering, Naruto ah, Sindel said. Sindel groaned even louder as Naruto grinned and pushed his fingers a little deeper inside. As she repeatedly moaned Naruto's name, Sindel caressed her enormous breasts. Naruto extracted his finger and sampled Sindel's fluids. Using his tongue to taste his empress, Naruto sampled Sindel's moist pussy. With every touch of Naruto, Sindel's pleasure levels increased as he ate her out. Sindel moaned in disappointment as Naruto stopped her before she could experience the orgasm of being dined out by her emperor. Sindel got to his feet to observe Naruto's fury. Now that the stunning empress understood what her emperor desired, Naruto grinned at Sindel. Sitting next to Sindel, Naruto felt her right hand caress his firm 9-inch penis. The more Sindel caressed her emperor, the hornier she was becoming. As Sindel jerked him off, Naruto played with her breasts. Sindel was flushed as a result. Naruto was rather large and thick for his size, but he was also an emperor who had studied magic for years and possessed the power of chaos. His differences can be attributed to a variety of factors. However, Naruto whispered, "It's all natural, my dear," in Sindel's right ear, causing her face to flush even more. Naruto felt Sindel's nipples harden as he rubbed them with his fingers. Sindel noticed that Naruto's precum was now completely sticky on her hand. Both she and he were prepared. As their tongues wrapped around each other, Naruto gave Sindel a passionate kiss. Despite this, Sindel continued to caress her emperor in the hopes that he would come for her before inserting his penis inside her. When Sindel broke the kiss, Naruto did indeed arrive and shoot a hard, thick load of sperm from his penis. Sindel was astounded by the amount of weight unleashed, but Naruto remained as tough as if he had never arrived. Naruto gazed into Sindel's stunning golden brown eyes as she lay on her back and grinned at her emperor. Sindel was held by Naruto's hips, and the Empress was prepared to welcome what lay ahead. Sindel's pussy is where Naruto inserts his penis. Sindel felt Naruto thrusting and put her hands on his chest. Sindel groaned as she sensed his desire to have her as his woman and his lust for her. Sindel felt her inner walls being filled to the brim with his thrust. With each deep thrust from Naruto, Sindel's breasts bounce up and down. Naruto cherished the sensation of Sindel acknowledging his love for her and designating her as his empress, wife, and queen. Naruto retorted, grabbing Sindel by the hips and holding her up against him. As Naruto grabbed a handful of Sindel's gorgeous round ass, Sindel put her arms around his neck. Naruto continued to thrust with the same depth, speed, and roughness. He was beating the living daylights out of her. He loved the sound of her groans and the sensation of their bodies rubbing against one another. The sound of his penis thrusting in and out of Sindel's pussy while striking her womb with such force, depth, and speed. Sindel groaned, "Naruto, I'm going to come, oh, please come with me." Naruto lay down on his back while Sindel rode him like a cowgirl, expressing his desire to hear from Sindel. Her hands were taken down to his hips, and her pussy was tightly gripping his penis. Sindel's left breast was touched by Naruto's right hand. Sindel sensed that her emperor was on the final line, and he was actually going to come hard. Before long, Sindel's hands connected with Naruto's as they held hands. Naruto reaches the end of his orgasm when Sindel bounces faster on his penis. Sindel yelled, "Naruto," as she experienced an orgasm. Naruto yelled, "Sindel," as he released his seed into Sindel's womb. On her emperor, Sindel lay down. Sindel nuzzles into Naruto's face as he puts his arms around her, keeping her near him. Naruto had finally found his true love in Sindel, and by sealing their love for one another, he would ensure that Edenia's future would always be with Outworld. Melina and Katana were sent to bed by Shao Kahn, and the Emperor went into his throne room. Shao Kahn was unable to fall asleep despite the late hour. I was reminded of his early years. Shao Kahn let out a sigh. He was by himself. Even though he was highly respected and powerful, he felt that something was lacking. There was obviously something lacking. A companion with whom he could share it. Sindel, his adored wife and empress, was the only person he could really trust. Flashback. A month following the union of Outworld and Edenia. There were occasional fights because the inhabitants of Outworld and Edenia didn't fully fit in, but Shao Kahn and his empress Sindel put an end to them all. Everyone was familiar with Princess Katana, Sindel's daughter. Sindel was the only one who addressed Shao Kahn by his real name. Everyone else feared and revered him. Since she knew Naruto and his entire past, she wasn't afraid like many others. He gave her all of his personal information because he trusted her. The Tower of Chaos. The Realm of Chaos. Havoc laughed and said, "Ah, it has been a while since we last met." He saw Reptile standing next to the Emperor, and Queen Sindel holding Katana in her arms. "Havoc, it has been a while. Still creating chaos in your beloved realm?" replied Naruto. Havoc laughed. "Ah yes indeed. What brings you to the realm of chaos?" Naruto stated, "To make sure my daughter is fully protected." Havoc appeared perplexed. "Come again? You are Emperor of Outworld. Surely you are joking?" Naruto chuckled. "Havoc, forgive me if I may confuse you. I wish for Katana to be blessed in the light of chaos. And also other matters we need to talk about. Warriors of Order have once again tried to take over our realm. I grow tired of their foolish mission to bring order to chaos." Havoc sighed. "Come this way, your daughter shall be blessed with the light of chaos." The chamber below. Naruto was given his war hammer, just like when he first arrived in the realm of chaos. As the soul of chaos shone on her and her daughter, Sindel moved in the direction of the floating gem stone. Sindel and Katana did not scream in pain like they had the first time Naruto did, but Katana was covered in blue flames and Sindel in purple. "Ah yes, your daughter and empress are now blessed in the light of chaos. Their strength has been brought to a whole new level." Havoc exclaimed with delight as the flames went out. "What do you mean?" inquired Sindel. "My lady, you are now stronger than you were before. You know the way of combat, yes? You are no longer weak in body. You and your soul are now equal to your strength. I would say maybe even stronger than Shao Kahn." Naruto gave Havoc a scowl. "Show us Sindel," the Emperor commanded. "From the soul of chaos I was given my war hammer. What has the soul of chaos given my empress?" Sindel felt a force pass through her throat and nodded. The empress released a roaring sound. Naruto and Havoc quickly put their hands over their ears. Havoc remarked, "The empress has the voice of chaos," following Sindel's conclusion. Naruto grinned. Sindel blushed and turned away when someone said, "Well, Sindel always was a screamer." "Well now Havoc, Why are the residents of Order so bent on controlling your realm? Replied Naruto. The realm of Order and the realm of Chaos have been at each other's throats for thousands of years, Havoc said. They wish to force their way of order upon us, who believe chaos is the way of life. Sado guards are the peacekeepers of their realm. I see, said Naruto. I read from one of Onaga's dairy that he was once allied with them. Do you know why? Havoc gave a nod. Yes, of course, Onaga wanted control over all. The realm of Order was his ally because of his realm and power, but if the Sado guards have been coming to your realm, Shao Kahn, then they do not approve of you being Outworld's ruler. Naruto scowled. I made it clear that I rule Outworld. None shall take the throne from me. Onaga was no easy foe to defeat. Havoc, if you ever run into trouble with Sado guards again, you and your people are always welcome in Outworld. Havoc laughed. Your words are kind, Emperor. But the people of Chaos will not give in so easily. Besides you, we have many allies as well. As you leave our realm, may Chaos guide you. After 2 years, one of the warriors Naruto had left behind as a landlord of a region of Outworld paid him a visit while he sat on his throne. Draman, the landlord, desired to control a larger portion of Outworld. Naruto had ruled all of Outworld since Onaga's defeat, but since the realm had grown larger as a result of his union with Edenia, he had chosen 4 warriors to be the landlords of each of the 4 sides of his realm. Draman, I allow you to rule the part one have given you. Do not ask me again. I place as you ruler of the south for a reason. Your powers to control fire amazes me. Do not throw your title Fire Lord away. Draman nodded as he refused to look at Naruto. Draman departed the throne while muttering obscenities about how stupid Naruto was to have such power. He didn't appear as dangerous as many people think. After passing Draman, Naruto sighed as Reptile entered the throne room. My lord, he is not worthy the title you have given him, Reptile growled. Reptile, you know of his skills. He is a great warrior, but I see greed in his eyes. Naruto is grinning. Reptile requested permission to kill Draman, saying, allow me to take care of him. Naruto nodded. No, Reptile for now allowed him to live. If he screws up, death will be the first he wants if he dares double-crosses me. Reptile bowed his head and said, of course my emperor. Empress Sindel and Princess Katana, who is 2 years old, entered the throne room as the doors opened once more. Reptile bowed his head to the Empress and Princess of Outworld, and Naruto grinned upon seeing them. Katana was sitting on her stepfather's lap when Sindel gave her to Naruto. When Katana saw Naruto grinning, she giggled. Still has not spoken her first word yet? Naruto asked, turning to face his Empress. Give her time, she will speak soon enough. Sindel laughed. How goes the trouble of the Southland? Naruto breathed deeply. Nothing to worry. Draman is greedy, he wants more. But he's stupid to think I'll allow him to control more of what I have already given him. Sindel gave a nod. Just be careful. It's the greedy ones you need to be careful of the most. Smiling, Naruto said, yes, I am aware of that. Kissing her emperor, Sindel said, it's not just you. I am worried of. Nodded. Of course, the people of the South has begging me to replace Draman with another. But I do not know who is worthy of becoming the South landlord. Sindel loved the expression on Naruto's face when he nodded and grinned. Why not leave it in the hands of the Shogun? They have proven time after time of being your favorite. Very well, tonight I will tell Draman he is no longer the landlord of the South. As young Katana joyfully clapped, Sindel planted a kiss on Naruto's right cheek, saying, I love it when you listen to me. Katana was told to wave goodbye to her father as Sindel grabbed her. As the two departed the throne room, Katana waved with both hands. Reptile, Naruto referred to his most reliable fighter. Yes, Emperor. Looking at the lizard warrior, Naruto asked, do you think I exhibit weakness whenever I am around Sindel and Katana? After a brief pause, the reptile said, be honest, it's just a question. The reptile nodded. Sometimes, it shows you truly care for the Empress and the Princess. But many will use this against you, my lord. But you are powerful, USSS should not worry, my lord. Naruto sighed and closed his eyes. I see, thank you for being honest, reptile. Believe it or not, but I holding back whenever I am around Sindel. There are moments I would send many assassins or prisoners to the pit or the arena, but it is Sindel that allows them to keep their lives. Many have become my warriors, some become villagers' guardians. But all share the same mind. All hail Shao Kahn. Many do not know how lucky they are because of Sindel. If anything happens SSSS to Empress SSS's Sindel, I surely will know they will not escape your wrath, my lord. The reptile growled. I pray that day will never come. Later that evening, dining room. Sindel, Reptile, Naruto, and the 4 landlords gathered for dinner. Naruto conversed with Draman during their meal. Looking at his glass of Outworld wine, Naruto said, "Draman, I've been thinking for a while since our last meeting." Draman smiled, thinking Naruto had given in. "Draman, you are no longer the landlord of the South," Naruto said with a deadly serious expression. "What do you mean? My emperor, surely you are joking." "I've been chosen by you," Draman said, looking surprised. "Yes, and I have chosen you to step down. You are the chosen fourth, no more. Leave my sight before I make you." Draman bared his teeth and gave Naruto a hostile look for more than a minute. Naruto was about to get up from his chair when Draman walked out of the dining room. "My lord, who will take Draman's place?" asked the Western landlord. The landlords of the North, West, and East nod their heads in agreement with Naruto when he says, "A Shogun will take his place. They have proven enough for me, and so I will give them the chance to prove themselves to me." Naruto was startled out of his chair by a loud scream. "What has happened?" asked Naruto as one of the maids bowed her head as she entered the dining hall. "Lord Draman is the one who has lost his mind. He abducted Princess Katana and killed the guards." Sindel gasped upon hearing the news, and Naruto bared his teeth in rage before calling forth his war hammer. "Where did he go?" the maid was asked by Naruto. The maid replied, "To the South land, my emperor." The land of the South. When Naruto discovered Draman at the southern border, he grinned and held Princess Katana away from a precipice, saying, "Move and she dies." Naruto scowled and said, "Don't think you will go unpunished, Draman. Assigning a Shogun my title? You must be kidding. You chose me due to my strength, and now you're throwing me out. I've done everything you asked me to do, so why would you throw me out?" Draman shouted. "I am Shao Kahn, Emperor of Outworld," smirked Naruto. "I do what I want to do. You were too conceited to start with Draman. As I previously stated, I am Shao Kahn, Emperor of Outworld, and the people have begged me to get rid of you. They love me and fear me, not you." After he laughed, Draman grinned and said, "You're not so high and mighty long as I have Princess Katana. Don't think you've won." Naruto hurled his war hammer at Draman, shattering both his jaw and nose in a single blow. Before Draman could fall over the cliff, Naruto rushed over to grab Katana. The last thing Draman saw before he died was Naruto's red eyes staring down at him. Naruto watched as Draman fell to his death, landing on a spike that impaled his stomach as he slowly slid down on the spike. Telling his stepdaughter that she was safe now, Naruto turned away and left while rocking her to sleep. Sindel and his warriors met Naruto when he returned to his palace. "Where is Draman?" a Shogun inquired. As he gave katana to Sindel, Naruto replied, "In the Netherrealm, burning for his crime. Know that I am Shao Kahn, Emperor of Outworld, right now. Place a single hair or hand on the princess and empress." With the exception of Sindel, everyone bowed their heads in compliance with Shao Kahn's command, and everyone saw the bloodlust glare in his red eyes. "You will be begging for the Netherrealm to take you." 3 months later, in the realm of the Elder Gods, somewhere else. Shao Kahn is growing stronger as the years go by. He has, indeed. He was our victor. He now rules Outworld after defeating Onaga. Yes, but he combined Outworld and Edenia. That is prohibited. The realms cannot unite. During his reign, Onaga fused numerous realms with the Outworld. We will have to put Shao Kahn down if he follows Onaga's example. Yes, he has the support of Queen Sindel. True, but we will have to destroy him as well as those who support him if he starts to cause more trouble than Onaga and Shinnok combined. We can't let the One Being come back. Yes, that is true. That is one thing we must never allow to happen ever again. There is nothing we can do to stop Shao Kahn from claiming another realm. Send the person who can complete the task. Shao Kahn's garden in the Outworld. Since Outworld's garden was not as lovely as Edenia's and the two realms were now united, Sindel decided to plant new flowers in the garden to pass the time while Naruto took care of other things and fortify his realm by granting the villages on each side the equitable shares they wanted from their emperor. When a strong earthquake rocked the ground, the guards arrived in the garden to check on Sindel. "Are you doing okay, Queen Sindel?" the guards inquired. "Yes, I am fine," Sindel said, nodding. "But what was that earthquake?" The ground was violently shaken by another earthquake, and then there was a loud explosion and the sound of soldiers' battle cries. The throne room by Shao Kahn. "What's happening?" Sindel walked into the throne room wearing an angry expression. Only Reptile, Katana's bodyguard and watcher, and the Outworld soldiers were present, as Reptile instructed them to send more troops. Naruto was not present. "What's going on, Reptile?" Sindel questioned the warrior lizard. The Reptile bent his head and said, "My empress, there's trouble. The emperor is engaged in combat with a formidable creature whose origins are unknown. It attacked the emperor out of the blue." Sindel exclaims. Where is he? Take me to him. The reptile nods in agreement with Sindel's commands. Outside the palace of Shao Kahn, while fighting an unidentified monster outside his palace, Naruto was holding his powerful war hammer. The monster was twice as tall as Onaga and resembled a lizard, with gray skin and a long tail. The creature had long nails with blue fluid dripping from the tips. As the creature was giving him a hard time, Naruto was bleeding from his mouth, but he continued to smile while the emperor laughed at his new enemy, saying, I don't know who you are, but today, you found your match. The Outworld soldiers emerged to assist their lord and emperor, but the lizard beast simply stares at Naruto while snarling at him. The lizard beast swings its long tail at Naruto, but Naruto's war hammer blocks it. Men fired. As a long line of arrows was hurled at the lizard beast, one of the Outworld soldiers said, the arrow had little effect on the beast. Naruto wondered, where did this thing come from? Where are you, Emperor, my lord? When Naruto heard Sindel call out for him, he briefly relaxed his defenses to see where Sindel was. The lizard beast then used this opportunity to attack, slowly crushing Naruto with its long tail. When Sindel and Reptile arrived, they discovered Naruto in the enemy's grasp. The lizard beast roared angrily at his face, but Naruto showed no fear. The emperor merely grinned, and the lizard beast, who didn't like Naruto's arrogance and bravery, growled for a brief moment. Give him up! Sindel shouted. Naruto screamed in pain as the lizard beast threw him at the two, blasting a fireball directly at his face before Sindel and Reptile had even approached the beast or him. The fireball wasn't just any fireball, though, it was heavily magical. The fire was extinguished, but it left a nasty scar on Naruto's face. He was on his knees, covering his face with his right hand, and he could feel his healing factor slowly kicking it while blood trickled from his face. Naruto thought, this magic. I know this magic. No, this can't be. Are you alright, Naruto? Sindel questioned as Naruto turned to face his empress. Sindel was shocked by the beast's destruction of Naruto's face, which included a nasty burn scar on his forehead and nose, his hair burned off, and eyes that were filled with malice. When Naruto attempted to stand up, he only fell to his knees. I'll live, but the scars will not hold me back. No, you can't fight. Sindel tells him, that thing is only after you. Naruto laughed, what about? They would probably try something like this. However, I never imagined they would take action so quickly. Nevertheless, I will not be easily defeated. As the beast's tail missed them, Naruto glanced back, grabbed Sindel, and swiftly rolled to the left. Go hide with Katana, Sindel. I will put an end to this battle. It won't last long. Naruto grinned at his empress. Naruto, if you die, Sindel closed her eyes, unable to even contemplate the possibility. No, Sindel, I won't die, Naruto said, shaking his head. I am difficult to kill. The beast suddenly attacked Naruto, tearing through a wall and into the palace hallway. Naruto managed to break free from the beast's hold and slammed his hammer down on the beast's head before the beast's tail whipped him through a wall and into another room. Shao Kahn's trophy room on the upper floor. Naruto felt himself weaken with his fight with the beast. Naruto wasn't sure why, but he felt his strength weaken by each blow the beast delivers. But the chaotic powers that flow through his hammer into him is what kept Naruto's strength up for now. The beast launches at Naruto and slashes him on the chest as Naruto's chest burns. Seeing the blue liquid dripping from the beast's nails, seeing it was acid rather than poison, Naruto chuckled as he kept on smiling. So they gave you a few boosts, huh? That alone won't help you. I don't care why they send or your reason for living. As long as I can breathe, no one can take this world away from me. This world is my world, Naruto yelled. The beast charged at Naruto, prepared to kill it with a single blow, but Naruto deceived it by sliding beneath it and hurling his hammer at the back of its head. While it was stunned, Naruto leapt on its back and ripped out its eyes with his fists. As it fell, the beast cried out in death. The beast's blood was also acidic, and Naruto could feel his hands burning. The acid wasn't strong enough to melt them away. Naruto turned to see Sindel holding Katana in her arms. Naruto grinned and said, "Is it done? I win." Sindel gave Naruto Katana as Katana grinned at her stepfather, and Sindel rushed to embrace her emperor. "Neither God nor any beast will take away my title or my authority over this realm. Everyone will realize that I am the real ruler of Outworld," Naruto grinned. Sindel grinned and kissed Naruto on the lips, despite the fact that he was severely burned, saying, "Today I believe the realms themselves will remember my emperor." Naruto turned his back and started to leave the beast's corpse as Sindel walked next to her emperor. Abruptly, the emperor and empress of Outworld heard a voice behind them. "Shao Kahn, You will no longer be in power. Every realm, including Outworld, is threatened by your posts. Your rule is over for today." When Naruto and Sindel turned around, they saw the beast change into what appeared to be a soul sword and its body glow a vivid blue. "Die Shao Kahn." Sindel shoved Naruto aside as the soul sword impaled him in the chest, causing a lot of blood to spill from Sindel's mouth and the Empress of Outworld to drop to her knees as the soul sword solidified. Naruto reacted too late, as the sword was only 10 inches away. Fear and rage fill Naruto's eyes as he exclaims, "No, no, no, no." As Naruto removed the blade from Sindel's chest and laid him on the ground, he used his magic to heal Sindel's wound, which was not closing and was bleeding to death, while Sindel turned to face her emperor. "Don't die, Sindel. Stay alive. You're needed. I cherish you. I can't let go." Sindel gave her emperor a smile. "Naruto, look after Katana. She is very important, so please. She is powerful and can help you achieve great success if she is raised properly. Please, she can assist you." Sindel coughed up more blood from her mouth, saying, "She needs you, she needs a father." "But she also needs her mother," Naruto said, shaking his head. "You can't die, Sindel. I won't let you leave us. I'll keep your soul from going to them." Sindel could only smile when she realized how much Katana meant to Naruto and knew that she would be loved and well protected. Sindel glanced at her beloved daughter, who appeared dejected. Katana noticed the mother's blood all over the floor. Sindel kissed Katana on the forehead while whispering to her, but Naruto was unable to hear. As Sindel closed her eyes and succumbed to death, Katana nodded. The door of the TR Hoppy opened as the Outworld and Edenian soldiers entered the room to gawk at the sight. After a long moment of silence, Katana turned to face her stepfather and saw nothing but utter rage in Naruto's eyes as he gazed at the sword that killed Sindel. Queen Sindel was dead. Katana was by her mother's side sobbing. Naruto was covered in her blood, and he held the blade that killed her. "This can't be," said one of the troops. Queen Sindel was killed by Shao Kahn. Just when everything seemed to be going well for him, even in his second life, Naruto wanted to scream and let out his uncontrollable rage because everything he had worked so hard for in his first life was taken away from him so easily. But he just stands there staring at Sindel's corpse. Naruto got up, took a deep breath, closed his eyes, and then opened them again. His eyes were filled only with rage. "Elder gods and all those who serve them, know that today you have marked the birth of your most dangerous enemy, me. I was their champion at first, but now they are after my life. They took her from me. They won't take Katana from me. I will make sure of that. I promised Sindel, my empress, my wife, my queen, that Katana would not be harmed, and I made sure of it for 10,000 years. Sindel is the one who has my heart."
So that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel for more awesome stories like this. Thank you. See you all in my next video.